records. First race, Luna Rossa by 18 seconds. Second race, Emirates Team New Zealand by 1 minute 41 seconds. Tonight, the teams are tied with 3 wins each. It was a very emotional day for everyone, for the supporters, for the spectators, and maybe even for the sailors. Thank you for a formidable day of racing. This is the closest America's Cup for decades. And 1,060 boats, 1,600 boats were watching the race today on the water, which is apparently a record here. So there were no real passing lanes after the start, so the starts were essential today. And with ATNZ falling down before the first start, and Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli doing exactly the same at the second start. So Peter, why and how did you stop foiling before the start of the first race?
Yeah, well, I think, the starts were pretty contrasting. One of them we were off the foil in Luna Rossa's bad air, and one of them they were off the foil in our bad air, and I think they were really set up both races for the outcomes. We were really pleased with the way we kept in the race in that first one, and thought we did a lot better job kind of keeping in contact, but didn't really have any good opportunities to get past. And then I think we showed what the boat can actually do if we get a bit of runway in the second one.
And Jimmy, you know why it also happened to you in the second race? Exactly the same incident?
Yeah, pretty similar. Just went very, very light on the way back and had to sail through the dirty air, and we just couldn't accelerate. And from then on, no passing lanes. The race was kind of over. Both races are over really after the start.
And Josh, are you concerned that Luna Rossa have the option to sail higher and slower with a similar VMG? Is that a tactical advantage for them?
No, I don't think so. I think we're just learning to sail our boat every day, and we're learning to improve, and you can sail the boat in different modes, so we're just playing around how to do it, and we just keep getting better and better. So we're excited, and we're looking forward to tomorrow.
Thank you. Keiko, it's really impressive how your boat has progressed and your maneuver have progressed over the last few weeks. Was the Prada Cup the key element to make us progress?
I mean, for sure, the racing in the Prada Cup was a big help for us. We came from the hard spot of the round robin, where we didn't sail very well, and we slowly progressed. And it was a great training. Now we are facing the best team, Team New Zealand, with a shot of winning, which is amazing for us, and we'll keep fighting hard.
Every day you win the first race and you lose the second one. Is that pure coincidence?
I think it's just hard. It's just hard. It's a split-second decision. Sometimes you are too early to the line. Sometimes you are too late to the line. And if the wind increase or decrease half knot, the difference on the starting line, it's 20 seconds. So it's very hard.
Stars are everything for sure. Nathan, it's your turn.
Thanks, Bruno. Nice work today, guys. It was a pretty intense day. I'm going to start with you, Keiko. Great first race. You guys sailed really well. I guess the vibe and many people out there might have been thinking you'd convert it and go 2 wins today. Are you happy with 3-all at the moment? Do you feel like it's maybe a missed opportunity?
I think it's the same for both teams. We both feel that we could have more points on the scoreboard, but at the same time we understand how hard it is. So I would say yes and no.
Thanks. To you, Pete. Obviously. Under the pump again, I guess it felt like, or at least we were talking about in the commentary booth, under the pump a bit between races, and turned it on once again. So, well done and congrats. The question I sort of have for you is that in the first race, you kept it close the whole way around the track, and you get close, and then you couldn't find a way through, and then the second race you stretched out. Are you believing the same thing I'm a bit, that your boat has a little bit more pace, and you just got to find an avenue to get it going?
Yeah, well, I think, we've been saying all along we're really happy with our boat. It's no secret in that lighter air, these boats dig a pretty big hole in the wind, so it's, definitely hard to keep the game close. And I felt like we really improved the way we sailed that race to be able to, keep it within 20 seconds or so, and, we definitely felt like we were within that kind of one mistake realm, but, Luna Rossa didn't really give us any options, so it was just about getting into the second race, and we just executed the start a tiny bit better than the first one, and pretty different outcome.
Thanks, mate. Jimmy, I'm going to come to you a bit about starting. It's becoming quite critical. You're the guy who drives the boat on the way back to the start line, and my mate Kenny next to me in the booth was sort of saying to me in the commentary that the pressure must be mounting on you guys as you approach the line to execute a perfect start because the passing lanes aren't really there. You just give us a bit of insight on how you're approaching the starts. How does it feel? You've been here so many times before. Are you thriving under this kind of pressure that's going to start to develop over the coming days?
Well, it's just a fascinating time, for all the helmsmen and the guys on board, because it's a completely new game. It's a completely new style of boat, and even a lot of the racing we did in the Prada Cup, that was quite different to this. We're dealing with a different boat, different team. We're dealing with a defender who is the best in the world. And it's a fascinating time. It's definitely every day you go out there and every start, every race you do, you just learn so much. You could honestly have a day off after every race just to try and get through a lot of the lessons and all the data. So, it's a fascinating time. It's, pretty cool.
Do you think there's a chance that either team can answer this? I know you guys have got simulators. Is there a lot to be learnt in the simulator overnight where you put your boat in the position you're in and you put the opponent there? And do you race overnight to try and get better for tomorrow, or is it just get out on the water and have another go?
Well, all the teams have got the option. All the teams this campaign have the simulator. The thing that's really challenging to model in a simulator is the wind field and the wind pattern. And that's probably in the starting box, especially in these type of conditions, it's very, very dynamic, and very hard to repeat. It's different every time, essentially. So, the simulators, without a doubt, they help. But I think there's still a lot of work to be able to get the simulation of the wind.
Yeah, thanks. Pete, do you want to comment on the simulator in any way, or has Jimmy answered it for you?
Yeah, I think he's answered it for us, and probably to add to that, the amount we are learning every time we go out and race, and it does feel like the strategies are becoming a lot more, I suppose, well thought out, and you actually have a lot better understanding of what you need to do and what condition to have a good start.
And Josh, final question for you. Welcome to the press conference. It's good to see you here. Can you give us a bit of an insight on what your role is on the boat, what you're doing on the boat, and I can see you grabbing knobs and twisting things and helping out on the manoeuvres. What's your involvement? Blair said that you're pretty critical to helping the boat fly through manoeuvres. Just give us a bit of an insight, without giving away your secrets, how you contribute to the team.
Yeah, no, it's awesome to be here. I'm pretty excited. I guess my role is, offside trimmer, and when we go through a manoeuvre, I just need to help fly the boat or get it through the tack. So my role is to help with that, and same as Andy, and we also help keep our eyes out of the boat and help Pete with some of the decision making. So we just help out a little bit and then spend most of our time on the handles.
And you're on the port side of the boat?
Yeah, definitely on the port side.
So leeward side. So are you helping any way in keeping Pete's eyes on what's coming up in the start?
Yeah, exactly. So helping Pete paint that picture to leeward. Obviously in these boats, there's some big blind spots, and that communication between the windward side and leeward side is pretty important. So they've got two helmsmen, and that's how they communicate, and we communicate similarly, just with different people.
Cool, thanks.
Thank you. Questions from the floor? Yes, Matt?
Matt Brown, News Talk CB. Pete, how much do you feel you've improved since race 1 on Wednesday, and how much more can you improve?
Yeah, it's obviously very different conditions today to that first race on Wednesday, but we feel like we've improved quite a bit in that lighter air. We definitely feel like each race we go into, we come out with a whole heap of learnings, but I'm sure both teams would feel the same. We haven't sailed these boats or raced these boats for a very long period of time, so every situation and each different breeze is slightly different. So it's really about learning as quick as you can, and we've definitely got a amazing group that are really helping the sailing team through that process at ETNZ, which we're really proud of.
Next one. Yes. Live, sail, die.
Alison Kent for Live, Sail, Die. For Francesco, there's been a lot of chat about the lack of passing lanes on this course. What do you think it'll take to create those passing lanes? Is it more time in these boats racing, or is it just the nature of the course?
Yeah, I think it's the nature of the course with that wind direction, and the light wind. I think in the light wind, it's definitely hard for the boat behind. Yeah, I think those two things. Yeah, I think we will see more passing lanes. I think if the wind comes from offshore or in other race courses, maybe.
Next. Yes, Richard.
So it's the same song, second verse, but we're now on day 13 of this regatta, and the last time there was a lead change at a mark was on day 4 when you guys raced Ineos. How's this going to play out? Are we going to keep going down two races till we get down to the final? Because all the racing, except for the semi-finals when American Magic was just out of resuscitation, has been on course A or course E. Have we got to get back onto course C to get a result?
I mean, first of all, we cannot control the weather. And second thing is, the reality is that both teams are sailing well. That's why there are not so many passing lanes. And we are just waiting for somebody to make a mistake, and it's not happening much.
So is this the one mistake regatta, basically?
Well, yeah, so far.
Yes, sir.
Jimmy Mark here from Stuff. Is it as simple as saying this America's Cup could come down to two quality starts in a row? Could 2 quality starts in a row decide this match?
No.
Why not? Because it seems like a start.
Well, because if you only get 2 quality starts from here to the end, that's not going to be enough, mate.
2 in a row will get you the break.
I mean, I'm no maths genius, but you got to go back to the books, mate, I tell you. But no, look, I think the fact is that it's changing all the time. It's, this is, like I said, this is new for everyone. It's not like we're coming in here with a heap of racing under our belts in these classes of boat, the software, the manoeuvres, how you sail the boats. I mean, it's just all totally new. We're all kind of learning along the way, and the time you learn the most is when you're racing the best in the world, typically at the pointy end of the competition. So, yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. I mean, as the guys have said, the conditions have really favoured the lead boat, but we know there's courses and we know there's conditions, or one team just makes a mistake while they're in the lead, we'll see a pass. But at the moment, we haven't, for all of those reasons.
I can just add for all of you that starboard entry was very strong today.
Peter Montgomery. Peter.
To Jimmy, and maybe Peter can add to it, but Jimmy, when you fell off the foils, was that in the wind shadow? Was that when you came back through your own wind shadow creator? What I'm getting at, and because you're old enough to sail in the version 5 boats, am I getting the message that the wind shadow on these boats is so much more than anything we have experienced before? Just take us through that start and what happened and why.
Well, yeah, I think both starts, and I think in the lighter air, you not only go through your own wind shadow, but typically both wind shadows, because you both come from above, when you enter the start line. Well, we're learning that as well. You know, I mean, sometimes in certain, let's say, stronger breezes, you go through it quite quick. So it really does depend a lot on the day. It depends a lot on the gradient and the shear and how quickly it's sort of moving along. But today, yeah, it was tough. I mean, both teams found themselves sort of trapped in this somewhat bubble and very, very difficult to sort of get out of it.
So, yeah, you'd created the own bubble, if you like, and it just still hangs there, which it wouldn't have done in days gone by. Have I got that right?
Well, I'm not sure. Yeah, I mean, the hard thing is that it's different every time. You know, it's not like you can go out there and say, oh, this will be exactly the same as yesterday, because it's not. It's totally different. You really go out there and you have to deal with the conditions and really try and, you know, yeah, you got some sophisticated software. I'm sure both teams have got it, but at the end of the day, you still got to go heads up and use your eyes and look at the water.
And Peter, can you add to that? This is just more than the vortex of the dirty air, if you like, and boats gone by, that these boats are creating something that, well, you keep telling us it's new and you're learning every day.
Well, I think the wind shadow you notice in every boat you sail, don't you? Yeah, if you sail dead downwind of someone, you go a whole heap slower than they do. But yeah, probably the difference is we go quite a lot quicker than the breeze, so you're actually coming back up through your own gas at times. But yeah, I think Jimmy covered it off pretty easy. You know, small differences in wind speed make a massive difference to where you end up in these boats. So that's what's making it hard in the lot area.
Thank you.
Couple more, yes. William, live till die.
William Reid, live sail die. JJ, you spoke before about, you know, your and Andy's roles on the boat and, you know, being on the pumps, but also feeding information. Do you reckon having 5 voices kind of looking out the window, or 5 eyes, you know, looking out the window and then, you know, feeding intel back to everyone else gives you a bit of an edge?
No, not necessarily. I think, you know, we're lucky. We've got quite a few good sailors on our boat and good grinders as well. So it's good to use everyone's opinion because everyone's very talented in their own right. But, you know, it is about covering with these boats compared to any other boat. It's very hard to see what's on the other side of the sail. So however you do that, however you communicate that, it just has to be done. So we're using a few more people than they might be, but achieving the same result, really.
One last question. Yes.
Duncan Johnson from Stuff. Josh, can you just take us through kind of the emotions and the pressure of between today's 2 races and the occasion out there? I mean, we've heard a lot from these guys, but a fresh voice on, you know, that whole scene out there, but particularly sort of regathering yourselves after that first race?
Yeah, I mean, for us, it's amazing to be here racing on home waters where we head out there and then there's 1,500 boats on the water in one small area. It's incredible. And then you come back in and the docks are just full with people. So the atmosphere is, you know, is incredible and we're really enjoying that experience. I mean, from a pressure side, I don't really feel it. It's more just about performing and executing what we know. So, you know, we're just trying to improve and get better. And for us, we haven't done a lot of racing. So each race we learn a lot and we're just excited to get out there and keep moving forward.
Thank you. Questions from Zoom?
First one is Michele Tognozzi, Farevela.
Hi, good morning, everybody. Question for Francesco Bruni. Checo Lunarossa has been able to win 2 races in this America's Cup, which has never happened to an Italian team, and has always shown that he can learn from mistakes to become stronger and stronger. Kiwis seem to respect and fear you more and more every day. So after race 6, what are you debriefing on tonight? Thanks.
I mean, our debrief are run by our fantastic coaches, and they really know what to tell us. We have the luxury of having a lot of data from both boats. So during the racing, you learn a lot from the day before. So the guys are working a lot overnight to produce good information for us. And so there are a lot of guys that are staying awake during the night just to produce the right informations. Not too many, not like the right amount and the quality as well.
Thank you. Next.
Nick Douglas.
Hi, guys. Douglas from Adventures of a Sailor Girl. As you said the other day, Jimmy, you believe you're the underdog, and as Aussies, we love a good underdog story. The last time we saw the Cup all tied up at 3-3 was Australia 2 versus Liberty, which was a changing point for the Cup. With the history tied up in this competition and the weight of both Italy and New Zealand on your shoulders, a question for everyone: how are your teams dealing with or using this energy or pressure to push your teams to a point where you can break the tie, so to speak?
Question to who?
To everyone. Jimmy can start.
Jimmy can start. Jimmy's first.
Okay, I'll start. Well, I think first of all, it's awesome to see the scorelines all squared up. I mean, from a spectacle, a sporting event, it's fantastic. It's also, I think every single day you talk about the pressures and the teams getting ready, and honestly, it's just an amazing opportunity for everyone that we can really go out there and race, because we know back in Italy, they're into lockdown. You know, they're going through some tough times, as are a lot of places in the world right now. So the fact that we can go out there and have upwards of almost 2,000 boats, people out partying and spectators, it is a very big privilege, and we don't take that for granted. But we're also, you know, we're pushing as hard as we can. Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty cool fact that you mentioned about back in the 80s and Australia 2 and Liberty, and there's some great history. And look, let's hope this one goes down as one of the great fights again on the water. But look, we're very lucky to be out here every day, and we wake up in the morning, we think, man, how good a day is it? We get to go out against the best team in the world and fight for the Cup.
Thank you. Good question.
I can only add that as far as you may think that there is an agreement between the teams, there is not. We have no agreement. We want to do the break anytime.
It's not rigged. Okay, Joe.
Last one is Eugenia Bagunova, Mainsail, Russia.
Go on.
Hello. Hello to everybody. Thank you for the great show we have today and the days before. My question is for everyone. This America's Cup, we often see the navigational marks on the race course, but today I noted that there was a navigational mark on the press start zone. How do you feel about it, and isn't it a trouble for you?
Yeah, well, there's obviously a shipping channel that we're racing over. So, yeah, there's naturally marks for marking out that channel. Yeah, I think on course C, it's probably upwards of, 10 marks in the course. But, yeah, it's something that you've got a lot of people looking around, a lot of eyes out there, and, they're pretty fixed stationary objects. So, you've just got to miss them.
No need to answer. No, I don't think so. You have another one? Okay. Good night. Thank you very much. See you tomorrow for another spectacular day.